if you think about the conference business at that time, like, Mashery and Laura and Oren, the folks there started the Business of APIs conference, right? Which was very not about, RESTful APIs and API, who's designing the best API and down in the weeds with the engineers. It was all about in the suits, or at least the cool clothes, about how you're going to sell it, how you're going to make money with it, right?
I remember Best Buy talking about their stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and in parallel, on the other side, you kind of had like David Berlin, who created Mashup Camp, right? And he did this awesome job of sort of like spotting that trend of like just the open developer community, and then using this unconference format to then, in 2006, I think was the first one, right? More or less. And then growing that into a thing, right? So at the same time, you had that sort of Web 2.0 concept of like open, social, unconferencey, sort of roll your own agenda, right? Along with like this open API thing, along with developers becoming kingmakers, was all kind of stewing at that same time. So anyway, I thought it was interesting sitting here thinking about the rise of these two classes of conferences as a way to sort of these communities that ultimately, blended.
It was amazing. There was the Business of APIs conference. There was the Apigee, what was it? I Love APIs conference or something of that nature.
Right. Yep.
By the way, that bumper sticker.
Another Marsh Gardner brainstorm, right? Because there's all this like, oh my gosh, how do you position? And Marsh was he's still at Google. He's doing an incredible job. But his heart is just so big, and it's as big as his smile. And he's like, why don't we just call it I Love APIs? Like,
so simple. Boom. And then along came the Steve Wilmot and his crew, Ken Lane. They started that API strategy conference, and then there was a bunch of fringe conferences. And
and Brian Malloy and I started API Craft.
Yes.
Right. So we started a Google group to say like, hey, this should be for everybody. Like everybody should be able to discuss it.
That was before.
That was pretty cool, right?
That was
before. So then we did the API conference in Detroit, and then there was the REST Fest,
the Detroit
in
one,
Greenville.
Yes.
The REST Fest in Greenville with amazing folks like Stu Charlton and MCA, not the Beastie Boys.
Mike Amundsen,
but Mike Amundsen.
And John, I still remember the talk you gave. It was in New York. I can't remember the hotel, but we were at the Business of APIs conference, and you talked about 20 APIs in 20 minutes. So what was the title of your talk?
Yeah,
Is that 20 business models or something in 20 minutes?
20 business models in
20 minutes. Yeah.
That was super cool.
I think that was probably started maybe with the API strategy one with Ken and Steve.
Yeah, it was there. I was there. I remember watching it, and it was kind of like ho-hum, everyone talking about the same stuff. And then you came in with like business models in 20 minutes, and I was captivated. And it was like all stuff that you already know, but you just put it up so succinctly.
I just don't think John ever gave a bad talk in his life. I mean, like he always stepped in. Everybody else is like playing around with like, sandboxes. And he's like, I've got my phaser and it's set to kill. Here you go.
Guys, we also left out API days, right? Because that was global. So I think that is part of what happened, right?
I love Andy, his energy. Yeah.
So I think part of what happened was sort of went beyond Silicon Valley, beyond, it sort of became this sort of global phenomenon.